here we have bluebells, which provide a much appreciated dash of blue early in the season. They're one of the first flowers to come out, even when there's patches of snow everywhere. Bluebells are in the family Boraginaceae, so there's also stickseed is another one in this family. Forget-me-nots are in this family. They're recognized by having 5 fused petals. These have long tubes, about 1 inch long, and then the petal tips flare out at the end to attract pollinators. So they're recognized by being about, they're less than 8 inches high, say. A nodding cluster of flowers, this beautiful rich blue color. The leaves are entire, kind of succulent looking. These flowers have some really interesting strategies. So they come out early, and the idea there is there's not a lot of pollinators, but the pollinator that they're designed for uniquely are bumblebees. And if you know bumblebees, they're covered in a thick coat of hairs which act as an insulating jacket. So the bumblebees are actually able to fly when it's still really cold out. And these flowers hang down, upside down, and the bees are strong flyers that can come and maneuver and turn and grab onto the base of the flower and hang upside down. Early in the season when these flowers first come out, they're kind of pinkish and they're rich in pollen. So the bees that come then are collecting pollen from these flowers. Later the flowers turn kind of a blue-purple, and then they're rich in nectar and the bees come and collect nectar. Well, they have a really interesting strategy. When you're hanging upside down like that and your anthers are full of pollen, you don't want to just be dropping pollen and losing it. So the pollen is held very tightly inside the anther. The bee comes and hangs upside down, and it can't collect that pollen because it's held on so tightly. So what the bees do is they vibrate their wing muscles at a high frequency, and you can hear the bees do this. They'll fly in, land on the flower, and then change the frequency, and that frequency shakes pollen loose onto their bodies as they hang upside down underneath the flower. It's called buzz pollination, and it's a really interesting strategy. Then later when the bees come to collect nectar from the blue-purple flowers, they don't just come into the front of the flower, they go to the base of the flower, drill a hole, and suck the nectar out. They're stealing the nectar. It's called nectar robbery. It doesn't help the flower at all. But probably the benefit is that not all bees steal nectar. Some come to the front of the flower, go in the flower like they're supposed to, and carry pollen into the flower and pollinate it, and that's how seeds are produced. So this is Bluebells, Mertensia. It's named after an old botanist from the 1700s, Mertens was his name, Mertensia. Longiflora, and longiflora means long-flowered, for these long, 1 inch long tubes. These flowers are all over in this sagebrush steppe mixed in here with bitterbrush, some sagebrush. In this case, there's some scattered ponderosa pine, Douglas fir, some grassland, and they are just beautiful colors. You'll see them all over the valley early in the season, and then they start getting wilty as by the time the balsam roots come out, these flowers are starting to lose their luster.